Hi, everybody. It is Pearl Harbor Day, and happy birthday to someone that she knows who I'm talking about. Yeah, it's December 7th, 2023. It's about 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. So when this goes up at 4:30 Central Standard Time, if world events changes, hey, you know what time I filmed this. Uh, Please remember, yeah, it's like I'm a clairvoyant, clairaudient psychic, so, everything is for entertainment purposes only. I do go through like the morning headlines, scan through them, take a peek at everything that's going on, what's been happening since the last video. And this is my impression of what's really happening. So let's get started. One of the big things that now everyone is bringing to the forefront is the border crisis. It's not only here in the United States, but it's also affecting Europe. It's basically, yeah, the Mediterranean was supposed to provide a big border barrier from everybody flooding in from North Africa. Well, it's not working. I mean, because of the EU, countries like Greece and Italy and France and Spain, I think if they had their way, they would have a line of battleships right at their edge of international waters, preventing these ships from the North African coast coming in and dumping off these sleazebags. But their hands are tied by the bullshit in Brussels. So people in Europe and the UK are getting all the stuff, and what's happening, France doesn't want these scumbags, so they're dumping them off in boats to get rid of them, and what they're doing is they're sending them across the channel. And the UK can't handle it because the UK has gone to heck in a handbag. I remember back in the 70s, people started saying then, because there were an influx of icks coming in, that Britain is no longer for the British. This started in the 1970s. And by now, basically, the UK is kind of being forced under Sharia law because a good percentage of the towns and the councils are now run by people from the subcontinent in the Middle East. And those kind of people don't want to assimilate into the society, the country they are parking their butts in. I mean, it's finally coming to light here in the US that we're not getting refugee migrant families from Venezuela. No. We're being invaded by military-age men. A lot of them are members of the occult. And the rest of them are from the Big Red Sea. The US is being invaded. And people are too blind to see it. All of it is because of the garbage, the censorship, and the nonsense that's coming out of the swamp. This is part of Barry's plan. Barry is tight with the guys who meet in Switzerland and the forest area in California. It's basically, hey, world domination, and like I said, they're pulling out a new seasonal illness to lock everybody up next year. So gotta watch your butts. I'm waiting to hear more because these fools have basically brainwashed an entire generation. These little woke idiots. And listen to the dude from Argentina now, anytime you push this human rights, global equity, Well, basically, that's new catchphrases for communism. Basically, they say, oh, equity, everything should be equal for everybody. No. It's called steal from the rich and give to a select few of who's in charge of the new socialist, Marxist, communist society. So these wokey brats, now they're having fits all over TikTok. Duh, TikTok, they're getting a paycheck from the big red sea. They're finding out that their unusual bachelor's and master's degrees don't mean diddly squat. So, can't find a job, kid? You're in nearly $100,000 in debt from student loans for a crap-ass degree? Basically underwater basket weaving? Go to your local union trade hall. Be a plumber, an electrician. Learn how to install drywall, carpentry. Hey, go work for the guys that are rebuilding the roads. Become a laborer to rebuild our infrastructure. That's what these little bozos need to do, but they're incapable of doing 8 hours of straight work. They can't be away from their phones for more than 3 minutes. How many people are doing video chats while they're sitting on the toilet? Yeah, it's this border crisis. Blame it on the globalists and the woke little brats. Because we do. We have the CCP. We have the iCult invading the U.S. And basically, we have nothing to really defend ourselves with because Barry, via JoJo, sent everything to the Ukraine. Barry knew what Hamas was planning. So he made sure our supplies were wiped out. That's why they left all of that stuff in Afghanistan to supply Hamas. That's where Barry's loyalties lie. Now we know that stuff is going on. Basically, they're saying, oh, we're approaching WW3. No, we're already in it. The iCults, again, are using drones to attack U.S. ships that have gone through the Suez Canal, that are in the Red Sea, that are going around the Arabian Peninsula. Yeah, instead of going all the way down lower Africa, they cut through the Mediterranean, go down the Suez Canal into the Red Sea. Well, once they get close enough to the Yemenite waters, Yemen starts firing on the U.S. ships, or any ship that has any tentacle reach into Israel. Those Houthis, those extreme iCult members, they're attacking. Definitely. That's what's going on. And we've got to really, really pay attention because right now, they just released this guy, Alberto Fujimori. He was the former president of Peru in Central America. Okay, Central America, go back into your history, 1400s, 1500s, 1600s. Central America, South America was basically colonized by Spain. That's Spanish. Well, this dude that they just released from prison in Peru, Fujimori, that's a Japanese name. People forgot that back in the 1930s, that's when Japan started their little attempt at dominating everything in the Pacific Rim. So I did talk to a woman whose husband is of Japanese descent. He told me that his grandfather was put on a cargo ship destined for Mexico. And he and his brother were smuggled onto a cargo ship and told stay hidden for at least 3 days. By that time, they would be so far out into international waters in the Pacific that they could not turn the boat around and bring the stowaways back to Japan. So a lot of families, if they were able to, sent male members, this is in the 1930s, 90 years ago, sent the second sons out of Japan to Central America. So yes, Central America is flooded with Japanese families. And back then, yeah, their loyalties were still to the rising sun. And many of them have still kept the same ideology over all these years. So that's why they are helping the communist Chinese invade America. Start looking at the names. Yeah. Now, another scandal that's happening, and I'm just laughing my butt off. The first part is like, it's all over the news right now. I guess this guy went for a job at UNLV. He, I guess, was a professor of business. He's in his 60s, which means he's grew up as a baby boomer. So he has the Eisenhower work ethic and was aware of all the nonsense in the 1960s with Johnson, Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh, Woodstock. Well, I guess he had been teaching like in North Carolina and Georgia, and now he's in Vegas. So he went to get a job. But I guess he wasn't woke enough. He wasn't woke enough for the faculty. So he was rejected for the position. And since he knew, hey, he's in his 60s, why not go out with a bang? So I guess that's exactly what he did. He went, took out the super woke idiots pushing stuff down kids' throats. And he followed the example of Hamas. He took the major sacrifice for the better good of all. Yeah, folks, Hamas and all the other cults, yeah, don't believe the propaganda. Oh, they're bombing hospitals and schools. Well, Hamas and these extreme cult people believe that if you make the ultimate sacrifice and cross the rainbow bridge on behalf of trying to push their ideology down somebody else's throat, that means you automatically go to paradise. Yeah. That's their mentality. That's what they've been raised with. That's their mentality. So this guy kind of, went into the business building and probably took out some super woke idiots. That's what I'm picking up on it. I'm waiting for further information to be released, but from what the numerous articles that I watched, that's what I pick up on it. Again, we're having, I don't know if anybody watched it, but there was like a congressional hearing, and representatives from 4 major high-profile universities were there. The presidents from Harvard, UPenn, Penn State, MIT, and NYU. I couldn't catch the name of the goofball from NYU, but they're being questioned about anti-Semitic behavior on campus. All 3 of these women All they did was toss out word salad. And it's so such a hypocritical situation. Here, the president of Harvard, Claudine Gay, take a good look at her. Really good look at her. Her complexion is darker than Doria Ragland, okay? Now, if somebody was calling somebody the N-word on campus, she'd be batshit crazy. But because they're allowing pro-Palestinian, anti-Semitic stuff all over campus, she condones it. Congress is telling her to resign. This is what's going on. I mean, Boston, Harvard is basically in Boston. And Boston has always been like, hey, they used to have signs saying in their windows, no Irish need apply. Boston is very cliquey. I mean, hey, it took a lot for Joe Kennedy to get his Irish Catholic kids accepted into politics. A lot of payola. And now you've got these idiots running Harvard, this black chick who doesn't know her ass from a hole in the ground, let alone history? Yeah. We've got a lot of big college presidents who believe the government propaganda that Islam is wonderful. That's called no freedom of religion, no respect for religion. Remember the 4 freedoms that FDR talked about? The 4 freedoms from want, religion, go back. It's Norman Rockwell series. But something I wonder if, this goes along with the 4 Stooges debate last night. Yeah, we've got Vivek Ramaswamy, No Brain Haley, Krispy Kreme Christie, and Dumbo DeSantis. The only smart one that wasn't there was Doug Burgum. So basically, when you see these 4 up there, Christie's a bully. DeSantis is not paying attention to the illegals coming up on his own beaches. Nikki Haley wants everybody's personal information so that if you say something she doesn't like, she can yank you off social media. So Nikki's playing cards out of Adolf's playbook. DeSantis doesn't really give a rat's ass about our borders. Christie's nothing but a Democrat stooge bully. And Ramaswamy? Look where his parents came from. Yeah. He's raised in that culture. Just like Talib and Omar Idiot, Delia Ramirez. Anybody who's like a first-generation American, born here of possibly, they might be legal immigrants. Ramirez, we know that her mother was a wetback, illegal wetback, and she was an anchor baby. So anybody who's like first generation, whose parents were not born in the U.S., be suspect of. Swampy, now, look at how the culture is from his native country. We don't want that here in the States. And speaking of the subcontinent, I've noticed it lately, but I don't know how many other people have. If you notice, we haven't been getting a lot of spam phone calls, robocalls, spammy emails and stuff. Well, right now, there's a massive, they call it a cyclone, we call it a hurricane, beating the crap out of the eastern coast of India and Bangladesh, and Myanmar and Thai and all that area are getting hit too. But Most of the locations where these scammer computer scam people operate out, they're getting, those cities and those cities are getting decimated by a hurricane and getting flooded out. So all their, hopefully, because they've scammed millions out of people. I mean, there's one guy that literally loves and films these computer scam idiots. I think his name is Kitbuga or something like that. They're getting hammered, so a lot of those call centers are getting decimated. Bye-bye. Hey, karma's biting them in the butt for all how much money they scammed out of people, stole out of bank accounts. And now their call centers are getting decimated. Hey, karma bites big. Okay. Henry and Rachel. I guess the MP from the Isle of Wight is putting through what we call an amendment to the 1917 Titles Act. Well, they were trying to modify it. Everybody's talking about it. We're waiting to see what happens in the UK Parliament with it. And, you know, we've got a lot of woke idiots over there. Especially Rishi Sunak. I mean, he's not an elected PM. And if any more poop hits the fan over there, especially with the migrants, or I should say, the UK's illegal invasion of iCult, yeah, it's, a lot of people are screaming bloody murder. A lot of people want to see the removal of titles. And it correlates with, hey, he's not a working royal. He resigned from office. His Uncle Andy no longer has 24/7 high-end security. No. When Andy's out in public for big events, yeah, he's under the umbrella of his brother. But the rest of the time, it's like, yes, if he has to go off property to go do stuff, the right people know he's out doing stuff and out and about. Yeah, he does still have the tracker on. Andy still has the tracker on him. But it's no obvious bodyguards surrounding him. Andy knows what he's doing. He knows how to take care of himself. But unfortunately, bunker bubblehead Harry doesn't. So, yeah, he's in the UK going through his little whining in the courtroom. But I think that's because he has to, according to visa regulations, he doesn't have a permanent green card. He has to call his ass out of the U.S. every so often for so many days. So, what's more convenient than leaving the U.S. to go be a whiny pants in a courtroom? So he's fulfilling the in and out obligation. That's what it is. And he can't say, he literally has been tossed out of the family. So he can't say he's visiting family to fulfill that in and out stuff pertaining to the visa. So this court case is his excuse. And I guess he's also pleading with his auntie because Henry's grandma redid the trust account for Henry. Okay, go back, rewatch the first season of Downton Abbey. It talks about entailments and how inheritance is distributed. Every single penny that Henry inherited from his great-grandmother, his mother, his grandfather, his grandmother, it's in a trusteeship. It's entailed. And the trustee of it is his aunt. His aunt is the only one who can, he must appeal to his aunt for the money. And only she will release funds for legitimate reasons. Now, another thing, everybody's still making a fuss because they haven't seen Rachel wearing her engagement ring. Well, they made a big stink about how the 2 side diamonds were from Henry's mother's collection. I was given the information that those 2 side diamonds were actually just a pair of stud earrings. Okay? Now, what Rachel and Henry forgot, anything that comes from a collection that is of possible family heirlooms, they're on loan. Okay? They actually belong to the family, and they are just on loan to the person for a duration of time. The diamonds that were in that ring were on loan to her as long as she remained a working royal. That's why she came out of that meeting with the theater people showing bare hands, because the wedding band made from Welsh gold, the engagement ring containing Diana's diamonds, were removed because she had resigned from being a working royal, so all jewelry had to be returned. Yeah, if you go look at, you see these other websites that talk about all the jewelry and the tiaras, you're going to hear the phrase permanent loan, on loan, constantly. The women in the royal family do not really own their jewelry. It's owned by the crown. It's owned by the monarch. And he loans it out to specific people to wear. The rings were on loan to Rachel to wear, as long as she was a working royal. She gave that up. Bye-bye to all the jewelry. So whatever people are seeing, it's high quality replicas. And I think you can go practically anywhere and find a diamond tennis bracelet. So, yeah. It's interesting. Keep waiting. And reminder, folks, that this Saturday, yes, it's the second Saturday of the month, so I will be doing a live broadcast at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. UK time. Yes, Saturday, the Saturday is live stream Saturday. So I hope to see all of you there. For some people who are watching, I want to wish you a happy Hanukkah tonight. First night we light the candles. And I hope everybody has a happy holiday. Stay safe. And I hope to see everybody, and tell your friends, hey, we'll be live on Saturday. Have a good one. Bye-bye.